Welcome back to the course introduction for EH 100 Basic English Skills. So we're going to go over here to modules, and we're going to go to the first module, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the syllabus. So I'll show you how to access it. You just click there. Then if you want to download it to your computer, you can, or you can review it here. I like to download it, but that's up to you. So we'll click on it. We'll open it here, and here we go. So my name is at the top along with my email should you need to contact me for any reason. My student hours are Tuesday to Thursday, 12 to 2. And these are hours that I have set aside to provide one-on-one instruction, feedback, respond to emails, or anything else you need. I tend to be in Teams during this time and checking my email frequently. So it is the best time to reach me. You can also contact me via email or via the messaging system in Canvas, and I'll respond to you as soon as possible, normally within 48 hours. Give me a little more time on the weekends. I'm not always available then. This is a developmental course designed to advance the student's ability to communicate in clear, cogent, written expression conforming to the rules of standard American English with a particular focus on grammatical and mechanical accuracy. So what that means is we're working on helping you to communicate effectively, clearly, in a written form, and to make sure that your grammar is correct. It is only for institutional credit, and our main focuses are the basic grammatical rule and organizational structures, writing process from pre-writing to final editing, basic patterns of structure and development in both paragraphs and essays, as well as analytical and critical reading. We don't do as much reading in this version of the course because of the pandemic. We can't really do peer review, and I've tried to do it online before, but it is very, very challenging, and I don't think it's a good fit for this class. So we're going to spend more time on writing than reading. You will need the Connect Composition Plus Access card for the McGraw-Hill Handbook. If you need to access your Connect account outside of Canvas, you can go directly to Connect from here. And we'll talk more about what that is in just a second. There are not any prerequisites for this course. And your outcomes are that you will acquire or reinforce basic skills in organizing and writing different kinds of paragraphs and essays, and will acquire the necessary proofreading and editing skills needed to locate and correct major sentence structure in grammar and mechanics. So we have several types of assignments in this class, particularly because it's an online course. I want to make sure that I'm able to assess where you're at frequently and that you get the practice that you need. We're going to start with a diagnostic paragraph, which is used to kind of help me figure out your starting point, and it's used to help me figure out where to focus the class. So if I have a class that has a lot of opportunities with commas, then I'm going to want to spend a little more time there. If I have a class that has a lot of opportunities, say with verbs or subject-verb agreement or verb tenses, I want to spend more time on that aspect. And so that's one of the things I use the diagnostic paragraphs for. They are graded, but the grade is very low. I think it's 25 points. I used to not have them be graded at all, but students had a tendency not to turn them in or to not give an accurate portrayal of their current place as far as the writing skills. And that defeats the purpose of the assignment. So I just had to start assigning points to it. But I am really loose on the grading there. So do your best and you'll be fine. There are two types of formal writing assignments. These are paragraphs and essays. During the first half of the semester, we focus on the structure and composition of paragraphs. You'll write 5 paragraphs of 12 to 15 sentences. That's about a page. And then midterm, we transition to essays. And you'll write essays using traditional rhetorical modes. And rhetorical modes are just types of essays, like narrative essays or compare and contrast essays. And so 3 essays of 1 to 1.5 pages, 300 to 500 words each, are required. You will also do discussion boards throughout the semester. These are intended to kind of give you a springboard, help you do some brainstorming for your writing, and to give you an opportunity to communicate with other people in the class. I think a lot of people often feel like they're the only ones struggling with these things when in fact they're very common. And I think talking about it with your peers might help you'd feel less alone and make it a little easier to work through because you won't be feeling as anxious or self-conscious about it. So these are 150 to 200 words at least, and I will give you a series of provided prompts or questions. You will also formulate at least one thoughtful response of at least 50 to 100 words on a fellow classmate's post. The initial posts are due Monday, and responses to classmates are due on Wednesday. Everything in the class is due at 11:59 p.m., just for everyone's sake, so that everything is kept pretty simple. Please use correct grammar and standard conventions of English in these posts. When we transition to essays at midterm, you'll start having a few writing exercises. One of the quizzes in those last 3 modules is replaced by an exercise. And these are to help you to develop your outlines. So you'll start with your discussion board on Monday, and then on that Wednesday, you'll have just a few questions, short questions to answer to help you kind of get some ideas for the outline, which will be due that Friday. And then a week after the outline is due, the outline is due, I think on Monday actually. We'll look at that below. I've messed with some due dates today. After the outline is due, you'll have a few days to convert that into an essay. Connect Composition 3.0 is an adaptive program, meaning it's customized for you, and it starts with a kind of a quick assessment to ask you some questions to see your starting point, and then it helps you work on the specific opportunities that you struggle with. So let's say you struggle a lot with writing topic sentences. The Connect Composition will help identify that and help you to compose stronger topic sentences. And this helps to replace some of the, not replace, but supplement the one-on-one instruction that is more difficult to offer in an online class, because it's a lot harder for us to, sit down and sit in my office and work through things. And I want to make sure you still have all the tools that you need to succeed. So these are due every other week, and the better you do on the questions, the shorter they are. So if you don't take it seriously and you just kind of select answers at random, you're going to be there a long time. If you answer honestly and you do the best that you can, you won't be there as long. I've set the average length on those between 1 and 2 hours. And again, they're due every other week. So I would try to do a few minutes a day, maybe do 10 minutes a day or something like that, so that it doesn't become overwhelming for you. Don't wait until the last minute to do these. You may not have enough time, and if you don't turn it in on time, you may get a 0. If you're having trouble with Composition 3.0, please contact customer support, and that information is right there. Each week, you will have 1 to 2 assigned quizzes to test your comprehension of the material. The quizzes are open book and open note, and they are intended to help you focus on the most important aspects of the material being taught. So basically the things that I want you to retain the most. They are generally on the PowerPoint. In some cases, they may be on reading in McGraw-Hill or on other material. You will see that I haven't gotten those put up yet. I wait until after the diagnostic paragraphs are in to assess what I need to focus on for the rest of the class, so that I can customize the class a little bit more to you, which is one reason why the diagnostic paragraphs are due so early in the semester. So full revisions of at least 1 essay and 1 paragraph are required. You'll get more information on those when the time comes to do them. You'll do your paragraph revision roughly around midterm, and you'll do your essay revision in the last week of class. So it isn't anything that you need to worry about immediately. There is a final. It's going to be an essay that you have to pass at the end of the semester. So how grades are determined. The options for grades here are A, B, C, and NC, which is no credit. So if you get below a C, you don't fail the course, but you don't get credit for it either. It doesn't affect your grade point average the way that a D or an F would. So final grades in 100 primarily derive from the grades earned on writing assignments, the paragraphs, and the essays. The diagnostic paragraph is worth 25 points. The paragraphs are worth 50 points each for a total of 250. The essays are worth 300 points, 100 each for a total of 300. Outlines for the essays, there are 3 of them at 50 each for 150. Paragraph revision is worth half of a full paragraph, which is 25 points. Essay revision is worth half of a full essay, which is 50 points. Composition 3.0 comprises 70 points of your grade. There are 7 assignments of 10 points each. Quizzes are worth 80 points. There are 8 of them at 10 points each. Discussion boards, the posts are worth 30 points, 10 of them at 3 points each, and the responses are worth 20 points. 2 of them are 2 points each for each of the 10 responses. And then your essay exercises are worth 30 points, and your final exam is worth 200 points. You must make a C or better on at least 70% of the work to pass the course. Some additional attendance policies here. This is actually not a blended class, it's an online class. I forgot to change that. In an online course, this here is the same. In an online course, the attendance is basically defined as anything you do for the class. So if you submit an assignment, post a discussion board, email me regarding the class, anything like that, that is considered attendance for financial aid purposes. Makeup policy is a little bit complicated in this class because I don't like setting really strict due dates. I know that life happens and I wanted to give you some ability to compensate for that. So assignments are actually due on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you are strongly encouraged to plan ahead and submit the assignments before the due date whenever possible. But I know that in an online class, maybe your internet goes down. In a pandemic, maybe someone gets sick. And so I've built in grace periods to help you balance life and school. Most, but not all assignments have 2 different dates in Canvas. So the due date is the date that the assignment is actually due, which is Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Available until date is the date I leave the assignment open until. And so that's typically 48 hours after the due date, and that gives you time to account for emergencies. So if your internet's being slow, or if it goes down entirely, then you don't have to worry if it's 5 minutes late. Assignments that are submitted during the due date and the available date, which is the grace period, are not considered actually late, although they will appear late in Canvas. I can't control that. There is no penalty. There's no need to provide me with an explanation unless you just want to. They're not guaranteed. Grace periods are not guaranteed on all assignments and are up to my discretion. There will be cases where I can't offer them, but I do offer it on the vast majority of assignments to make sure that you're able to balance things. Assignments such as speeches, classworks, and quizzes, you don't have speeches in this class, but assignments such as essays, paragraphs, things like that can only be made up after the grace period if the student has a legitimate, documented, and excused absence, or if the student has gotten permission from me in advance. Assignments submitted after the grace period, even with an excused absence or prior permission, incur a 10% per day penalty. So that means that if the assignment is due on Friday and the grace period is until Monday, or until Sunday, if you submit it on Monday, even with my permission, you're going to get 10% taken off. An excused absence can be something like a doctor's appointment, university responsibility, or court appearance. If the student is absent, they are still responsible for work when they return, and that was due during the absence. If the student is absent without a documentable excuse or permission, you can't make up the assignment, including essays and paragraphs. So it says including speeches because this is also a very similar policy is often used in our speech classes. What that means is that if you don't get with me ahead of time and submit it within the grace period, after a certain period of time, you're not able to make it up. So we're going to go ahead and stop here, and then we'll go through this last part. And we'll talk a little bit more about some other things in the class.